So, you want to build a villa in paradise. I get it, it's a dream life for many people. But here's the thing, building in Bali isn't as simple as picking a spot and handing over a sack full of cash to a contractor. Having recently designed and completed a villa project here, I got a first-hand crash course in what it really takes to design, build and manage a project on the island from start to finish. And I'm going to share the full process from finding the land, designing the house, hiring the right people and guiding it through construction, ensuring everything is done in the most efficient way. Because anything can happen in design and construction. I know people have been scammed out of their life savings, design that look nothing like the drawings, and contractors who did a runner with the money. In today's video, we're diving into how to buy and rent land, which areas are the hottest for building, and how to get really clear on what you want from your dream villa. There's tons of confusing info about land ownership in Bali, so I'm going to try and simplify it here. Like most places in the world, there are two ways to own land: freehold and leasehold. Leasehold is the most common way to own land as a foreigner, meaning that you'll basically be renting the land per year for a set duration. Commonly this is for about 25 to 30 years. If you do think you'll want to stay longer than your original lease, it's hugely beneficial to ensure extension rights are made clear in the contracts. But even if they are, land price increases in Bali are pretty unpredictable and landlords hold all the bargaining power. You'll be up to the whims of the market and your landlord when it comes to renegotiating your lease. On the other hand, foreigners aren't technically allowed to own freehold land or properties in their own name in Indonesia. Yes, you can open a PTPMA, which is a foreign company in Indonesia, and if you want to go down this route, you'll likely be paying 3 to 4 times more than the value of a 30-year leasehold contract. When it comes to finding the land, there's basically two ways to do this. Number one, find an agent. There are loads of companies who will gladly show you the properties they have in their books, which is super convenient, especially if you're not in Bali to look. But of course it means that they're going to want to take their cut, which generally increases the price. The second option is kind of just go around and ask. You'll find that the Balinese are surprisingly open when it comes to renting and selling things. Doing it this way means that you cut out the middleman entirely, which is generally better for your wallet. There are some important things to look out for. Number one, make sure that the land is zoned according to what you want to build. Not all land can be developed the way you want, and some zones like green zones prohibit development entirely. Land disputes are common, especially when the land has been passed down through generations. So first of all, be sure to verify who owns it and that the contract will be recognised by any inheritance. The roads in Bali might not always be the best, and some properties can actually be landlocked, so make sure you have legal road access or there can be big problems later down the line. And make sure any land taxes are paid and up to date, and that there are no outstanding debts related to the property. Now this doesn't cover everything, so make sure you get proper legal advice and speak to a local notary before you sign any contracts. Bali has something for everyone. Whether you're looking for a peaceful retreat or a lively hotspot, this island really does offer it all. But how did Bali go from a quiet, culture-rich island into the global destination it is today? Well, we need to rewind a bit to the 1970s, when the expansion of Negara Rai International Airport supercharged accessibility to the island. Kuta quickly became the tourist hotspot, thanks to its beautiful beaches and affordable stays. And as more people flocked to Bali, development spread westward through Seminyak and Legian, turning sleepy villages into bustling centres of tourism. But here's the thing about Bali. It's a place that constantly changes. It evolves, embraces new ideas, and adapts to its visitors. More recently, Canggu became the place to be. It started as a quiet area, but digital nomads, creatives and investors saw the potential and flocked here for its relaxed vibe and surf culture. And as demand grew, so did the prices. Before the pandemic, you could get a decent plot of land here for 10 to 15 million per ara. And no, that's not a mispronunciation. An ara is an Indonesian unit of measurement, equal to 100 square meters. Today, we're talking 30 to 40 million per ara, and history suggests it's only going up from here, which pushed things out even further west. With Canggu booming, development began spilling into areas like Sese, Chimangi and Tabanan. And for those who couldn't afford it, Uluwatu became the go-to, offering the same laid-back surf vibes with some of the most scenic cliffs in the world. But price isn't the only factor. Bali's roads are notoriously slow. Getting to these areas can take time, and that's not likely to change soon. Instead of pushing further west, more investors are looking to the east, places like Sanur, even as far as Candidasa. Wherever you choose, the location is one of the most important decisions you'll make. But that's just the start. Check that one off and another one pops up. What do you really want to build? It's not just about picking a spot anymore, it's about how you want the space to feel, how it should flow, and what kind of vibe you're aiming for. So, how do you begin to turn your jumbled up ideas into a vision? So this is where things really start to get fun. What really separates architecture from basically any other design discipline is how deeply tied to the context it is. The land, the light, the neighbours, the sun path, the shape and orientation of the site. All of these things define what's actually possible. And of course, you've got the client. Every client has their own ideas, and honestly, figuring out what they want is half the job. Learning their tastes, their priorities, what makes the most sense for the land and the lifestyle. So I always start with a feasibility study. For this project, here's what that looked like. This was the initial layout of the parcel. This whole block is owned by one landlord. So we're basically allowed to choose how much land we actually wanted. There were 2 big trees on site. The rest all kind of like scrub and banana plants. Classic blank canvas really. The sun path is always a major design driver. Bali sits 5 degrees south of the equator, so you're dealing with a hot tropical climate year round. That means you want most openings on the north and south sides, with good shading to avoid the midday sun. After the sun path and site strategies, we start looking at references. It's a chance for the client to show me what resonates with them, visually, emotionally, experientially. Do they imagine hosting big gatherings or keeping the space private? Do they want it to feel connected to nature or more like a retreat from it? Are we designing for family life, work from home, wellness rituals? This is when we talk about all of it. Whether they want the kitchen as the heart of the home or hidden away. If they dream of a cinema room, a cold plunge, a rooftop garden. This is where the dream list comes out. And using reference projects really helps articulate that. We were really drawn to a lot of Mexican houses, specifically the ones that combine organic textures with concrete. The Wabi house in Tulum is a great example. That roof is incredible. One pure, simple gesture that creates all this communal space underneath. Casa Cova too. That vernacular roof gives it a strong presence, and the clean openings around the pool make the whole space feel really cohesive. The RA residence. Amazing warmth in the interiors with the timber cladding. And simple rectangular openings that frame the views and shade the space just right. And then Wing House. The way the interior flows directly out to the terrace and pool, with the rooms kind of wrapping around that shared space. There's a really clear priority on communal living. So we had all these references, site constraints and client goals. And then it's time to start some massings. I tested everything. L shapes, T shapes, Z shapes, clusters, single stories, double stories, stack blocks, split blocks, even a cross shape, because you always have to try a cross. I laid them out on site to see what would actually work. What gave us good flow, light, privacy, proportion. At the same time, I was starting to map out floor areas, trying to keep them all around 200 square meters to match the preliminary budgets, and sketching out a list of everything the client wanted to include. And that became the brief. And that brief, that's basically what the rest of the project follows. So if you want to see how that turned into an actual design, subscribe.